Hello, my name's Joanne Phoenix and I'm passionate about spreading the word that you can create consciously and you can live more of what you want and less of what you don't want. And one of the things that I find that is fundamental to this is self-awareness. And one of the best ways to become self-aware is through meditation. Now, I decided to do this video as I have many people ask me, clients who say they can't meditate, or even friends that turn around to me and say, don't speak to me about that meditation bullshit because I can't meditate. And so I want to bust some myths about meditation. You know, a lot of what we experience or what we think we know is through commercialism, and we get to see those Zen masters that are sat here saying their ohms and these images that tell us that there's nothing in their minds, that they've cleared their minds. And one of the biggest things that people that I've witnessed seem to think is that meditation is about clearing your mind of your thoughts. Now, what if I was to tell you that that's very rare, that there are people that have done it, but it's very rare, and that's not what meditation is all about. So just to give you a little idea, I knew for many, many years that I needed to meditate. There was something in my heart, in my soul, that was telling me, meditate, Joanne, meditate. And this went on for years and I never did it. Then I enrolled in a course, I had a little go, didn't do that. And then one day my life became so difficult. It was so hard that I sat down and I just thought, right, I'm gonna meditate. And I sat there and I closed my eyes, and what I saw was this like white sign as a vision that said stop. And I'd been listening to a guy called Cal Cease who really advocates meditation, and so I thought, no, this can't be right. So I did it again and I sat, and there it was again, and I thought, right, okay, well, I'm going to do what I've been hearing Cal Cease say. I'm going to meditate. And what I did was I proceeded to meditate for 5 days. Now that was extreme, and I did take breaks and I did eat once a day, and I stopped everything. The first thing I did was I unsubscribed from emails and I cleared out my life. And let me tell you, my whole system, I didn't want to do this. It's like, I need to get going, I need to be doing things. My whole system was telling me, you need to do things, Joanne, but somewhere deep, deep inside, at a more deeper level than what my mind was saying, told me to stop. And for those 5 days, which was extreme, I felt so much fear that at times I was lying on my bed, I was shaking, and then had this realization, I think it was day 3, where I realized, my goodness, if there's that much chaos going on inside here, there's no wonder my life is chaotic out there. And I'd learnt at this point, I knew enough to know that the outside, that the things we experience are a reflection of what's going on inside of us. And during those 5 days, I really got to see what was going on inside of me. Now, I'm not suggesting that you meditate for 5 days just because I did. This is just an example to explain to you why I meditate. So I've been meditating now for 18 months and my life has changed beyond measure in those 18 months. I have changed. People who haven't seen me for a couple of years, that's the first thing they remark on with me, as I'm not scattered, I'm not as scattered, and I'm a lot calmer, I'm a lot more grounded. Now, that happened over time. And I learned that the purpose of meditation isn't the meditation itself. These days I don't sit for like hours on end meditating. Sometimes it's just 5 minutes in the morning for me. And the purpose of meditation is a practice so we can become self-aware, so that we can learn to witness ourselves, so that we can make different choices, or we can notice if emotions are rising. We can see what's going on inside of us. And that's why a lot of people resist meditation, in that when we do stop to meditate, we might lose ourselves, our thoughts that are going through our minds, we might not like them. And then more often than not, there are emotions that arise that we don't want to feel. And so therefore we'll distract ourselves and do lots of different things. But let me ask you, does that work for you? Because I spent 49 years distracting myself and doing and doing and doing and doing, only to feel miserable. Yes, I'd created a beautiful life for myself. Yes, I had lots of magnificent things, but inside I didn't feel good at all. And one day I woke up and realised everything I created wasn't what I wanted at all. So how do we meditate when we're first starting? Well, we can start off with just 5 minutes a day and just set a commitment. You know what? I'm going to do 5 minutes a day. And that 5 minutes can feel like 5 hours. It can feel like an eternity when you're actually sat there meditating. And you can also lose yourself. You could start off meditating, and then at the end of the 5 minutes, like, oh, I forgot I was doing that. My mind went off thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow, what happened yesterday. You don't need to worry about any of that. The whole purpose of meditating is it's a training ground to self-awareness. For those of you that can drive, for those that you can't drive, you can't just sit in front of a steering wheel and suddenly drive without lessons. And it's the same with meditation. So just this commitment, a consistent action every day, even if it's only 5 minutes, just to start sitting and witnessing yourself. I used to call it listening to silence. And yes, I was listening to silence, but at the same time I was listening to a lot of noise that was going on in here. And then what you'll find, if you commit to this one day, it might be months down the road, it might be weeks down the road, it might be days down the road, you'll start to understand you are the witness that is watching your thoughts, that is feeling your feelings, and you'll start to become more self-aware. And at that point, you'll find that as you go through your daily life, you might notice you're making a choice that you've always made, of something of a pattern you've always been in, and you're aware. And then one day you might find, oh, I'm not going to do that because that always leads to this. And that's the purpose of meditation. Now, one of my favourite gurus, if you like, on this subject is called Michael Singer. He's got 2 books. One is The Surrender Experiment and one's The Untethered Soul. I'll put in the comments below this video the links to them. And they are 2 great books, particularly The Surrender Experiment, to show you where meditation can take you in your life. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you've got any questions, you're welcome to find me in the link tree and message me on Messenger or whatever. And good luck with your meditation. It doesn't have to be perfect. Much love. Oh my God. Are you actually joking me?